Hello everyone! Today we dive into the shocking story of Lin Hong Tan, the woman infamously known as the Black Widow of Gansu. With her mesmerizing beauty and cunning psychological manipulation online, she turned sweet words into deadly traps. Her unfortunate victims not only lost their fortunes, but also their lives in her ruthless schemes alongside her gang. Since the emergence of the internet, online romance has become a widespread phenomenon. Everyone dreams of finding love in the virtual world. However, behind the sweet facade lies unpredictable dangers, sometimes leading to devastating consequences, even death. Lin Hong Tan was born in 1970 in Baiyin City, Gansu Province. From a young age, she was renowned for her striking beauty. As she grew older, her allure became even more captivating, causing many men to fall helplessly in love with her. However, she was never interested in decent men. Instead, she was drawn to rebellious and reckless individuals. In 1995, at the age of 25, she started dating a notorious gangster. This relationship dragged her into a world of crime from which she could never escape. One day, her boyfriend got involved in a major gang fight. During a police intervention, he used a dumbbell, provided by Lin Hong Tan, to attack an officer, nearly killing him. As a result, her boyfriend was sentenced to life in prison, while she received a 6-year sentence for aiding and abetting the crime. After serving her time, she struggled to find stable employment and fell into the world of gambling, particularly mahjong. It was in these underground gambling dens that she met Wang Li Guo. The two quickly fell for each other and moved in together. The path of crime. After some time, Lin Hong Tan noticed strange behavior in Wang. At first, she suspected he was seeing another woman, but the truth was far worse. He was part of a gang specializing in armed robbery. This group consisted of Wang, twin brothers Zhang Renmeng and Zhang Renhu, along with two unemployed criminals Lu Zhendo and Liu Dongrong. Initially, they feared Lin Hong Tan would leave after discovering their crimes. However, to their surprise, she was thrilled and decided to join them. Her arrival changed the gang's strategy completely. Instead of relying solely on robbery, they began using romantic traps, manipulating victims through love and affection before striking. By 2005, online chat rooms had become widely popular. The gang saw this as the perfect opportunity to expand their hunting grounds, and Lin Hong Tan, with her stunning looks and persuasive skills, became the ideal bait. Their first target was Chen, a young man from a poor background. Chen was hardworking, had graduated from university, and secured a job as a civil servant. In his free time, he enjoyed chatting online, which is how he encountered Lin Hong Tan. Her beauty and charming personality quickly enchanted Chen. Their online conversations soon led to real-life meetings growing increasingly frequent. Eventually, he was completely captivated by her, unknowingly walking into a deadly trap. One evening, while drinking together, Chen succumbed to temptation and accompanied Lin Hong Tan to her home. The moment he stepped inside, two strong men rushed out and restrained him. In that instant, Chen realized he had fallen into a trap with no escape. Terrified, he begged for his life. After searching him, they only found a phone and 300 yuan in his pocket. Furious at the small amount, the gang mercilessly beat him until he was barely breathing. Understanding their anger was driven by money, Chen desperately tried to stay calm and proposed calling his family to request a ransom, on the condition that they spared his life. At first, the gang was skeptical, but after a brief discussion, they saw it as an easy way to make a large sum. They handed him the phone, and he shakily called his father, fabricating a story about needing an urgent deposit of 50,000 yuan for his company. On the other end, his father was silent, overwhelmed by worry. The family was already struggling to pay off loans from Chen's university education, and now another enormous debt loomed over them. Despite the financial burden, a father's love and hope for his son's future prevailed. He desperately borrowed money from various sources, managing to gather 10,000 yuan, which he then transferred to the designated account. However, once the gang received the money, they broke their promise. Instead of sparing Chen's life, they brutally beat him to death and disposed of his body in a desolate area near a water plant on the outskirts of Shi City. This marked the gang's first major payday. Compared to their previous 3 heists, this was their most successful operation yet. Encouraged by the outcome, Lin Hong Tan and her gang used the stolen money to purchase 2 handguns, preparing for even bigger crimes in the future. However, before they could execute their next plan, internal conflicts began to arise. Some members grew resentful, feeling the profits were not evenly distributed. Meanwhile, Lin Hong Tan's online scams were becoming less effective, as recent targets lacked substantial wealth. Frustration and anxiety mounted, leading to a heated argument one drunken night. Zhang Renmeng, in a fit of rage, openly criticized Lin Hong Tan, triggering an explosive confrontation between them. The next scheme. Following the dispute, Lin Hong Tan, Wang, and their close accomplice Liu Dongrong temporarily relocated to Baiyin to lay low. But as their funds dwindled, they resorted to their old methods, searching for victims online. This time, they set their sights on Lin, a middle-aged circus performer. Despite his modest background, Lin boasted about being a wealthy businessman in chat rooms. Seizing the opportunity, Lin Hong Tan arranged to meet him. However, when they finally met, the gang was dismayed to find only 200 yuan in Lin's possession. Enraged and feeling cheated, they stabbed him before abandoning him in a desolate field. Fortunately, a kind passerby discovered Lin and rushed him to a hospital, saving his life. Unfortunately, the injuries were so severe that he suffered permanent disabilities. Meanwhile, Zhang Renmeng, Zhang Renhu, and Lu Zhendo had moved to Xi'an in search of new opportunities. They targeted a man named Wang, who had just withdrawn cash from a bank. Tracking him to Beihuoxing in Baishanguan, they shot him dead and made off with 16,000 yuan. With this money, they planned to return to Lanzhou to divide the loot before celebrating the Lunar New Year. But upon returning, Zhang Renmeng only distributed 2,000 yuan to each member. This caused tensions to reach their breaking point, with suspicions and resentment growing within the group. At the same time, Zhang Renmeng learned that Lin Hong Tan's group was in Baiyin and was at high risk of exposure, which could implicate him as well. Realizing the danger, he had no choice but to call Lin Hong Tan and her gang back. After a period of separation, the criminal syndicate of Zhang Renmeng, Lin Hong Tan, and Wang Liguo reunited once more. This reunion carried both high hopes and immense pressure, as their previous schemes had drained their financial resources. Lin Hong Tan continued to exploit her beauty and acting skills, posing as an innocent woman in search of a husband. She placed marriage advertisements in local newspapers to lure wealthy men. However, the men who responded were mostly poor, and the only financially stable one turned out to be part of another gang of 3 criminals, causing the plan to fail completely. Frustrated, the group decided to abandon this scheme and shift to a new approach. A month passed without finding a viable target. Zhang Renmeng grew impatient. One night, in a drunken rage, he furiously berated the group for failing to make money. At the peak of his anger, he pulled out a gun and threatened Wang Liguo, who was trying to calm him down. The tension in the room reached its breaking point, but before Zhang could react, the others quickly took advantage of his lapse in concentration and disarmed him. From that moment, cracks began to form within the group. Even his own brother sided against him. Now isolated and without support, Zhang Renmeng had no choice but to leave. Meanwhile, Liu Dongrong, disgusted by the murders and manipulative tactics, also decided to walk away in search of a more peaceful life. Lin Hong Tan's deadly trap. Now, only Wang Liguo and Lin Hong Tan remained. The two continued their crimes, refining their tactics to become even more ruthless. In 2006, Lin Hong Tan met a man named Huang online. After chatting for some time, she learned that Huang had moved from Guangdong to Gansu to open a pharmacy. Most importantly, he owned a luxurious Mitsubishi Pajero, making him the perfect target. Sensing an opportunity, Huang devised a plan. Using her seductive appearance and sweet words, she lowered Huang's guard. In their video chats, she frequently teased and flirted, keeping him both anxious and intrigued. Eventually, Huang agreed to meet her in person. Their first meeting took place at a bar in Lanzhou. There, Huang employed her usual tactics, getting him drunk and using affectionate gestures to weaken his defenses. However, Huang remained cautious and politely declined her invitation to her home, leaving Huang disappointed. Unwilling to give up, Huang persisted in arranging another meeting. This time, her plan worked. As the Lunar New Year approached, she pretended to be sad about returning to her hometown, making Huang worry that he might never see her again. On January 24, 2006, Huang finally let his guard down and agreed to visit Huang's home. That night, Huang arrived in high spirits, eager to see the beautiful woman he had fantasized about. But instead of a romantic evening, he was greeted by 3 dangerous criminals ready to take his life. Huang walked into the apartment, completely unaware of the trap awaiting him. The moment the door closed, 3 men emerged from the shadows. Before he could react, they seized him, tied him up, and ransacked his pockets, wallet, and even his prized Mitsubishi Pajero. Every valuable item, including the 20,000 yuan in his possession, was stolen. But they didn't stop there. Upon discovering that Huang had a significant amount in his bank account, they pressured him to reveal his PIN. Terrified, Huang complied. Within hours, they had emptied 80,000 yuan from his account. Now that they had taken everything, Huang was of no further use to them. Without hesitation, they brutally stabbed him to death with a sharp fruit knife. His body was wrapped and dumped near Shaoxia Park in Lanzhou to erase any trace of the crime. The Mitsubishi Pajero was left near the scene to mislead the police. A month later, Huang's body was discovered. But since he was from another province, the police struggled to determine where he had been murdered. With no leads from the abandoned car, the case quickly reached a dead end. A trail of crimes. Seeing that the police were not pursuing the case further, Lin Hong Tan and Wang Liguo resumed their brutal crimes. Hong, with her alluring beauty and cunning nature, continued playing the role of a deadly seductress to trap wealthy men. One evening at a bar, Hong spotted a young man dressed in luxury, adorned with expensive accessories, making him the next target. After a few flirtatious exchanges, the man agreed to leave the bar with her. However, things didn't go as planned. Instead of taking her to his home, he drove to a private apartment. As soon as they arrived, 2 other men appeared. Hong immediately realized she had walked into a trap herself. These men were drug addicts and sex fiends. She was tortured the entire night before being dumped on the street the next morning. This failure was a costly lesson for her. Determined to recover, the gang set their sights on Liu, a wealthy yet boastful businessman. Once again, Hong used her sweet words and beauty to lure him in. They agreed to meet on the night of June 8th, 2006, at a high-end bar in Lanzhou. The moment they met, Liu was captivated by Hong's beauty. After an enjoyable evening, he eagerly agreed to accompany her home. But instead of romance, what awaited him was a deadly ambush. The moment he stepped inside, he was bound and brutally beaten to death. The next afternoon, Liu's wife, unable to reach him, reported his disappearance to the police. During their investigation, authorities discovered that Liu had made multiple calls to a mysterious phone number before he vanished. However, this number had been deactivated since June 9, 2006, making it difficult to trace the owner. With no other leads, the police turned to the phone company's records. Their search revealed that this mysterious number had been in frequent contact with 2 other numbers, one of which belonged to Liu. Based on the gathered data, the police suspected that the remaining number could belong to another victim. Crucial clue. After the case had reached a deadlock, an unexpected lead surfaced. The police decided to call the mysterious phone number they had discovered. Fortunately, a screenshot revealed that the owner of this number was a man named Ding Bao. Without hesitation, they summoned Ding Bao for questioning. At the police station, Ding Bao admitted that the phone number belonged to a woman named Xiao Yue, whom he had met online. According to him, Xiao Yue was not only physically attractive, but also incredibly charming in conversation. He had fallen deeply in love with her and had even considered proposing. However, all his plans crumbled when Xiao Yue suddenly disappeared without a trace. When the police informed him that she might be a dangerous murderer, Ding Bao was in complete shock. After a few moments of contemplation, he let out a sigh of relief, realizing that he had narrowly escaped becoming her next victim. During the interrogation, Ding Bao provided the police with a valuable piece of information. Xiao Yue had used a Lenovo phone. This detail was significant because, at the time, retail stores often required customers to register their personal information on warranty cards when purchasing mobile phones. Recognizing the potential breakthrough, the police launched an investigation at Lenovo retail stores in Baiyin and Lanzhou. They meticulously examined warranty records and transaction receipts to track down the suspect's identity. After days of relentless effort, they finally found a warranty card that perfectly matched the clues from the case. The information on the warranty card identified the suspect as Lin Hong Tan. Along with this, the police obtained her home address and national identification number. Armed with this critical information, the authorities immediately devised a plan to capture Hong. On August 25, 2006, they launched a surprise raid on an apartment within the Shipyard Residential District in Baidiu Kilihe Lanzhou. There, they easily apprehended Hong and her two accomplices, Lu Zhendou and Wang Liguo. Based on their confessions, the police quickly tracked down and arrested the remaining gang members, including Zhang Renmeng, Zhang Renhu, and Liu Dong. Wrong. The entire criminal network was dismantled, finally bringing hope for justice to the victims. On June 10, 2008, the trial of the 6 criminals, including the mastermind Lin Hong Tan, commenced. The trial lasted for 3 days due to the sheer number of crimes committed by the gang. Prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence, leaving no room for the accused to deny their guilt. In the end, the court sentenced all 6 criminals to death for their brutal crimes. The verdict was not only a punishment for their atrocities, but also a warning to anyone considering a life of crime. On March 4, 2010, the death sentences were carried out. This marked the end of Lin Hong Tan and her gang, bringing an era of terror to a close and restoring peace to society. The case was officially closed, but its echoes continued to resonate, leaving lasting lessons for the world. The Beauty Queen. Crime Boss, a title that seemed to belong only in fictional stories, became a grim reality, proving that behind a flawless mask can lie unimaginable darkness.